setup. Forgive the lighting. I don't know why it's so gray today. Everything is coming up gray. And that's my son. Anyway, this is my setup. Taking it from the salted water, which I washed everything. I actually washed my hands really well, and then I washed them with the skin on individually with a little bit of foam soap. Just be careful right now. And you're always going to hear him in the background if I try any indoor stuff. Anyway, my scalloping, see, while it's large, this sits so nice, this one right on my pot, and I can just do it with my hand, but I have to be very careful. I wouldn't, if you're distracted easily like I can be, I suggest you switch over to the little tool and use that to keep your fingers safe. Actually, it has this so it hits the guard too if you go this way, so you really keep your hands out of the way. And that's stained from previously using it for carrot slices, but I just couldn't bleach out for some reason. Also, for some reason, the potatoes are doing that. I guess it's their juice that would, you know, how the potatoes can turn brown when you're cutting them. So it's the juice just left behind. Okay, that one doesn't want to go anymore, so I'm going to just pick that up and plop that in. And that's basically my setup for scalloped potatoes. I salted my water, turning my oven, my stovetop up, and yes, I'm wearing Christmas PJs. That's why I'm not showing myself yet today. And yeah, I'm just gonna let that boil. I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, boil it to a point where they're really soft because I don't want mush, but maybe al dente, and then I'm gonna make my cheese sauce, and then I'll bake it in the oven just to get, you know, the top browned. You know, cook it a little bit, but I'm not gonna do the whole thing in the oven. I'm gonna do a lot of it on the stovetop. Up really nice. So the next thing is, after I get it whisked up to, you know, just, I think it's pretty good. So what I have here is just the last of the chicken broth that I am whisking in, and then I'm gonna let this thicken up a little more, but it's very thick. I'm pretty happy with this roux. And then I'll take it off the burner, but I really don't need to, because I have my burner pretty low. I only have it at about, oh, you can see my pajamas. I only have it at about 3.5, so like maybe a low medium that I'm doing this on. I did go back in and add the butter. I'm following a recipe that I got off the Paige Family Homestead. I was watching them make Salisbury steak and these cheesy scalloped potatoes, and it looks so good, and I had the ingredients, so I decided to, oh my goodness, look at that roux. I decided to try my own version of the recipe because I'm a little bit of this, a little bit of that kind of person in the kitchen. But I'll possibly link her channel in this video, and maybe some other channels that I know that have done good, you know, scalloped, I keep saying it's scalloped like escargot, scalloped potatoes. But these are cheesy scalloped potatoes, so they're a little different, and they sound really good. This is just scrape marks from using it so much for brownies. You know, it's an old dish. So what I'm gonna do is I saved butter just for, in my fridge, of course, just for greasing pans. I'm gonna grease this pan first with the butter. I am turning off my burner right now and going to add my cheese slowly to my roux, and then mix it all together, and I'm going to place it in the oven. I just have to go back and see what temperature I should place it in. It's not going to have to cook that long because the potatoes are already pretty much cooked through. I don't want it mushy. I just want a nice like browning on top. I might even broil it. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let me get to it with my dirty looking pan, which is not dirty. Let me grease it up. Or what I have on hand and what I'm going to use. This one says it's 1.5 cups. This one was 1.5 cups, so I've got at least 2 cups here. And I do have some sliced cheese. I can always add that, but you can mix up the cheeses with whatever you have on hand for these cheesy potatoes. I know there's other ways to do this cheesy potato recipe. Some people use like cream of soups. I have to be careful with them. A lot of them have MSG in them and just other things that I can't have, like regular flour. A lot of them aren't gluten-free. I know, I think they're trying to get better though. But doesn't my pan look much better with butter in it? Like all shiny. So that's all greased. Got the cheese, it's gonna go in. Got my potato scallops, and I've got to see this. Oh my goodness, yum. I have to find my rubber spatula, but there's the cheesy goodness. So good. I left just a tiny bit of cheese in there so I can sprinkle it on top with some salt and pepper. So excited. Okay, I've got to lay out layers of the scalloped potatoes and start scooping this on. So excited, yummy, yummy. All right, this kind of recipe reminds me of like when you eat it and you leave the plate in the sink and haven't washed it off, and say it gets a little bit hardened. I don't want to say that, but dry. My dad's favorite saying used to be like, what the heck did you eat on this plate? Because I can't get it off. That thick and rich of a cheese sauce. But I'm sure it'll come off, you know, it's because it's made with a roux. It's not straight up cheese, but it sure looks like it. And I know cooks who did things like this with the cheese sauces that have worked in diners would tell you probably to use Velveeta. But I just used shredded organic cheese because that's what I had on hand, and so far so good. I just hope it all seeps down in, because I mean, I'm telling you, this thing is so thick. You can see that it's super, super thick. But once it heats up, I'm sure it'll go into all the cracks and crannies. All right, I gotta take care of spreading this, because as you see, I cannot film anything and spread the cheese sauce properly. This is gonna be probably the cheesiest potatoes I've ever made. I had an old recipe that, you know, this thing looks like it totally tops it. And no cream cheese, cream of soups in it. So a little healthier for you, but I don't think there's much health in this. It's more of just a comfort meal, comfort food during this stay-at-home order. So stay-at-home comfort food, if that's what you want. This looks like it's gonna be that. I'm gonna salt and pepper this. I'm gonna sprinkle a little cheese on it, wipe the corners so they don't burn, you know, the edges, wipe off the excess, and it'll be good to go with my cheesy scalloped potatoes. Thanks Paige Family Homestead today for putting that video out a little while ago and stopping in on my channel so I could find it. Yum yum. Okay, YouTube family, you gotta admit this looks really pretty for going into the oven. I have it at 375 just to heat it up. I gotta go double check the recipe that Paige Family had. I love that little thing. I got that when we were going to a garden tour at Mounts Botanical. It actually reminds me of Big Bear, what they say at a lot of the end of their lives. Theirs is a little different. So, but yeah, I like that saying, harvest love. So anyway, here is the before, and hopefully the after will be, you know, browned up and still yummy, and I won't mess it up or burn it. So hopefully, looks really cheesy, looks very comforting, yum yum. Do you see how cheesy that is? I'm gonna put it on broil now to just brown it a little bit more on top and get it out of there. But that's a lot of cheesy goodness. And of course my dog's barking right now. Yeah, I'm definitely not taking a bite of that yet. It is steaming hot. But it looks like it went through all the layers, nice and cheesy. You can see the little potatoes peeking out there. Oh, it looks so good. So good. I ain't gonna lie, as people say, that bite was really rich and delicious, and it should be really good with the gravy hamburgers. I can't deny that that is some good stuff right there, even though it's maybe not good for me. So maybe I'll have to make broccoli to offset some of the cheese sauce, but oh, so good. So good. And the potatoes are organic, so at least, you know, they're not filled with pesticide. So that's good.
Thank you for hanging out with me while I made these super cheesy scallop potatoes. I made mine with mini meatloaves instead of Salisbury steak, but you can find a Salisbury steak recipe that looks delicious and these cheesy scallop potato recipe, this cheesy scallop potato recipe over at Paige Family Homestead, where I found it. The only seasoning difference was that I added a seasoned salt that I made myself, which I'll save for another video. And I also added powdered mustard because I knew I was going to add cheddar cheese. Powdered mustard always seems to make cheddar cheese pop a little bit more for me in cheesy recipes. I hope you enjoy this recipe and have some comfort food while you're at home, and just enjoy your family with some of these nice dinners that maybe you're finding on YouTube. Bye-bye. Stay safe.